Thank you, Madam Speaker. For years, the residents of South St. Boniface have been expressing concern that new heavy industrial activities nearby may be the source of metal pollution in their yards and neighbourhoods. Last summer, of course, this government failed to inform residents about test results showing lead contamination, and when they did, they justified their inaction as usual by saying the NDP was even worse. I would like to table a recent letter from the Residents Association saying in April, they received letters for the results of an August 2017 soil samples that had been held for nearly 2 years. They write that, quote, one of the residential results shows lead levels that exceed the Canadian Council of Ministers of Environment guideline safety limits for residential properties by almost 12 times. They write that many residents are left wondering when there will be any action or plans for remediation. This government keeps saying they're putting money into cleanup. Is any available for St. Boniface or other neighbourhoods with lead contamination?
The Honourable Minister of Sustainable Development.
Well, thank you very much. And once again, I stand to correct the member for St. Boniface on some of the misinformation in his preamble. And also, he at one point had accused this government for a cover-up that was orchestrated by the NDP government of Greg Selinger and of Howard Pauley. So I would just like to correct the member that in 1988 it was Howard Pauley under the NDP that covered up the first lead in soil report, and then it was under the NDP throughout the 17 years that they were in government that they covered up the lead in soil reports. I have met with the residents of South St. Boniface. I have ordered additional testing, and I have released all those tests to them.
The Honourable Leader of the Second Opposition on a supplementary question.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Those lead tests actually came out about 6 weeks before the 1980 election, when the first PC film in government was elected. They were responsible. So when asked about this issue in the House, the minister said that, quote, we are also getting additional equipment that will be arriving this week. I'm told by the department that they will do additional air quality testing because we do know that fine particulate is of a great concern. We want to make sure that we've got our finger on the pulse. And if there are excessive levels at any time, that our department can quickly react and take those steps, end quote. That was October 26, 2017. We now know the department sat on the results, and it's 18 months later. Were the air monitors ever set up, and have they shown what the source of the air pollution is?
The Honourable Minister of Sustainable Development.
Well, again, Madam Speaker, I'm happy to correct the member's misinformation. Not only did our government order additional tests for lead and soil in his community, among many other communities, we released that information. We also did order additional equipment. We've got additional air quality monitoring stations set up in South St. Boniface. We also have a mobile unit under the NDP. All this equipment was reduced. The budget was slashed incredibly under the NDP government. We've enhanced the resources that the department has at their disposal to do that additional air quality monitoring.
The Honourable Leader of the Second Opposition on a final supplementary.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I know this government likes to emphasize how the NDP sat on studies of lead results, but these tests date back 31 years of continual NDP and PC governments where governments did studies, knew the results, then buried them and did nothing to address the issue. The residents of St. Boniface asked a simple question in the letter that I tabled, which I will repeat. Quote, when will the province release the complete soil testing results report, including results from the first and second phase from St. Boniface and other parts of the city, so as to avoid a repeat of the 2007-2008 Winnipeg lead in soil study?
The Honourable Minister of Sustainable Development.
Well, thank you very much, Madam Speaker, and I was very pleased to work with our Minister of Health to issue out an RFP to get more expert advice on how to deal with some of the issues that are lingering from the time when the NDP government had failed to address lead in soil. We've also released all that information about the lead in soil reports that we have taken, and I will table for the members' purview some of the lead in soil reports that were hid by the NDP. That includes lead and soil reports for Wolseley, Minto, Point Douglas, and Tyndall Park.